Here we have our rocker shaft. The rocker shaft operates on the valves. We have 2 valves at the front and 2 at the back, one set for each piston. The outer ones are our exhaust outlet, and the inner 2 are our air and fuel mixture. We then have our rockers themselves, which are these shafts which go all the way down onto our tappets, which are these. Now this tappet is then operated by the cam. As the engine rotates, the cam, which is like an egg-shaped or pear-shaped lobe, rotates and pushes this up and down. And this pushes up and down. Inside here sits the actual rocker, which moves the rocker shaft up and down and operates the valves. So that's how that works. And what we need to do is what they call adjust the tappet. So we have threads in each of these 4, and we need to move that thread up and down to get the correct gap at our valve here. So it's like a valve clearance between the rocker shaft and the actual head of the valve. Now this is a 499cc engine, so the gap here that is 0.0059 of an inch or 0.15 of a millimeter. So I've got metric, so I'm going to be using 0.15 on a feeler gauge, and we're going to show you how to adjust these. So the first thing I'm going to do is we want to get top dead center on our first cylinder, the cylinder at the front. And in order to do that, we're going to need to turn the engine. So I've got here a 17mm socket. I'm going to put it on the pulley here on the this is dynamo, so put it on the end of the pulley, and we're going to rotate it. And as we rotate it, let me just change the camera angle for you. So as we rotate it, you'll see hopefully the valves going up and down. Now we've just actuated the exhaust valve, which means that's opening on cylinder 1, and as it comes up we want it just so I've just started to see the inlet valve open, so we've gone slightly too far. We want to take that back marginally. That looks about right to me. So those 2 are now closed, and this cylinder should be at top dead center. So I've got my feeler gauge. Let's just bring it into shot for you a second, see if we can get it to focus. There we go, 0.15. So it's quite a flimsy piece because it's going to be very, very small. So we've got a 0.15, and we can see that it's a bit loose there and a bit loose there as well, so they need tightening up. You're going to need an unusual size of spanner here because these are 11mm nuts. Normally we're using 10 and 13 and 17 and 15s on a Fiat engine, but these are 11s. So that's not actually tight. Let's tighten it up. For some reason it's loose. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do is I have new threads here for these because didn't actually, when I've done this before, I felt the nut and the thread on a couple of these are not great. So here's our new thread. Let's see if I can get that. on camera. There we go. Now, I don't know whether you can quite see, the top of this is more squared and the bottom of it is more rounded. It's the rounded piece that wants to go in first. So we need to make sure our tappet is actually seated nicely. Sorry, our rocker. Okay. And we've also, with these, got new nuts, sorry. Right, that's actually perfect. So let's see if I can just tighten this up a bit. So what we do is we put on our screwdriver, we try and hold the tappet as still as possible, which is very difficult to do, but that is great. Let's see if let's tighten up any more. Trouble is, as soon as you start to tighten it, you move the actual thread itself. So I'll try and get a nice grip on this and act as a counter for it. That's nice action there. I'm just going to crack this off slightly. Trouble is that you crack, you turn it and it doesn't. There we go. So you have to go in and you have to make sure the nut is loose from the actual thread itself. So that you get it when you need it. Oh, I think I've just gone past where this needs to. Oh no, that's good as well. I think we can even tighten up just a tad more. Yeah. So that one's good now. So we need to turn the engine again, so that the cylinder 2 is top dead centre. So we're going to turn it again, so it's pushing down our first piston. Exhaust is going through on piston 2, and as we come back up, oh, we just started to see that start to open. That's good. So let's see where we are on these. Bit more difficult to get to now. At the back here. Okay, so this one's way too tight. Back it off. I'm going to replace this one as well. Okay, so getting the thread over the top of this tappet was not happening because the just didn't want to go in nicely. So I've taken the nut up from the bottom of the thread, and that seems to have gone on nicely now. What I want to try and avoid is damaging the thread, because then that makes it so much harder to adjust. It's going to be a little bit tricky to adjust this one, I think. Such fine margins here. Fluff. Coming from this side. Yeah, there's nice friction there. So now we're going to do the final one, and I am going to take this one off. I'll show you the reason why. The reason why this had a 10mm bolt on, which is here, is because clearly someone's damaged the thread previously and decided to tap it down to 10mm from 11 all the way down to all the way down to the kind of there on the thread. You see that? Just tapers in slightly, which means that it doesn't really work very well as a to adjust the tappets. So don't understand, for the sake of a couple of pounds, I guess someone was desperate and they didn't have the equipment they needed, but they did have the ability to tap a thread. So let's get our feeler in. Oh, that's just about perfect. Right, let's see if we can tighten it up without moving it here. Once more. Yep, nice friction there. So that is our tappets, nicely set now, and we can put everything back together. So we're going to get our rocker cover. Put it over the top here. Try and wiggle it until it drops nicely into place. There we go, good. Connect our breather hose so we don't forget that. We're going to put our fibre washers on next, and these should be replaced really. I have got some spare ones somewhere, but I will not do that for now. Then our standard washers, and our 13mm bolts, get the thread started on both of these. So with our 13s, you want to, on the rocker cover here, you want to take it down so it's firm but you don't want to take it down too much. So you want to make sure that it's sitting and sealed, but the danger always is that you can start to bend the rocker cover if you over tighten it. So just feeling this is getting tight now. That feels very firm. Okay, so that's not moving anywhere, which is good. Now we can put our high tension leads back on. Cylinder 1. Yeah, looking for a nice firm positive click, which is what we got. Tuck the little rubber seal in. Then I'll go through the pipe here. Nice positive click there. Try and feed this rubber seal in again. Make sure it keeps the air circulation where it needs to be and no debris gets in there. There we go, I got it now. And then finally the coil. Push that back on. And we should be ready to start. And that is how you change the head gasket on a car, and let me tell you, it's taken quite an effort. It's really something I think that is probably easier with the car out, the engine out the car. It's just too fiddly to get to all the bolts easily. I really wasn't expecting to have to decoke it either, so it's taken quite a few hours to get to this point. But it shows that it is achievable. Just patience, maybe a few days, rather than trying to do it all in one go and just working through it. And yeah, you can change your head gasket. What I'm going to do is, after I've done a few miles on it, taken it out, put it through a couple of warming cycles, is just take the rocker cover off the rocker again and the carb, and just check the torque settings on the head, just to make sure that we don't have the same problem reoccur. Make sure there's no problem there. But other than that, yeah, all back together, all working. Pretty pleased.